do have my folio ready to work with. The base is done, and let me show you what I've done. This is a closure. I'm just going to put that aside. So it is long. It is 25.75 inches in the length, from that side right through to there. It's 25.75. And then I use the width of the paper, that is 8.25. I join my pieces first, and then I do my scoring. And when I put the first section in, now let me show you the joints that I did. There's the one at the back. Okay. And that is, I've just put my score tape on, and I've just put it over the score tape. And then this is just a little piece here that I had to add on. It's not that much, but to get it in the length what I need. So I need that section and this section to be exactly the same, and then a closure comes over. That's why it is in the length that is so long. This side, put it on the scoreboard, and I'm going to score. Let me just hold that like that. I'm going to score at 6.25 and at 7. Finish my fold lines, and I'll bring this over, put it in the scoreboard, and I'm going to score 6.25 and 7. Finish the fold lines, and when I put that onto there, hold it. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but you will get your scoring exactly the same, and that's what you need. 6.25 and 7. That is the score lines, and that is how it's going to work. Then I do have all my pages ready. Now, on this side that goes over the front, because I just need to put that there so that the camera can stay in focus. So when you put it over like that and you bring it over, it's on this side. It's just going to be a plain pocket. And the pocket measures 5.5 by 5.5. And I score it at 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. And I did cut that out so that the corner here, that there's not a lot of bulk. And then I do have a belly band. But the belly band, it is 2 inches wide, but it's just an off-cut piece that I'm going to use. But I will put it on the pattern paper. This is going to go underneath the pattern paper. And that is my pocket. And it's going to come on to this side over here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that aside because I need a pocket for it. So those 3, it's going to, I don't need a pocket. I need the pattern paper for it. I'm going to put this just onto the side. Then when you fold it over, I mark this number 1. And I need to get number 1. This is all number 1. Okay, so I'm just going to turn number 1 over because there's a lot of fold outs and things. And I'm going to start with number 1, number 1A. And I'm going to do the measurements for this in the width. The measurements for this, it's 5 3/4, and I use the length of the page. It is 8 1/4. I score at 1/2 inch on the 8 1/4 side, and we need 2 of it. We need A1 and 1A, 1B. We need 2 of these ones. They are going to come onto here, onto this, and that one is going to go over there. That is how they're going to work. It's those 2 there. Then I do have 1C and 1D. They are exactly the same. So they measure 6 5/8 by 6 5/8 by 8 1/4. And I scored 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. So 6 5/8. These 2 are going to come onto the sides. They're going to open like that. I do have this belly band. It's not a belly band. It's a closure. And that is going to be, it is 3 3/8 wide. 3 3/8 that way. And I think I just use, because this was an offcut, and yes, it is just the length of the page, and that is 8 1/4. And I score it 1/2 inch and 1 knot on. I think that is 1/4 inch, and you do have that. That's going to go over everything. It's to keep it all close, like that, onto this page. I'm going to glue mine down, and I can show you when it's done. I must tell you, I did cut mine on the 8 1/4 side. I cut the quarter off, so I just have it at 8 because of getting it in here. You're very close to that score line and this score line here, and you still need to put some pattern paper on this. It's going to make it a very bit difficult to stay away from your score lines so that you can open and close your flaps. So that's why I decided. So I've got a little bit of play, and I feel much better. And I did notch a little bit in onto the corners, and that is what I mean. It is just cut a little bit off. And I just want to finish. This one doesn't feel okay. And now I'm going to put my glue on. and we will position it onto the edge, but I'm gonna make it sure that's in line with this one. That's over there, onto the edge, and it is. So I'm just gonna finish. This here, not over. Okay. And that is all the fold outs and the closure. If you are a little bit over here, just trim it with this one as well. Just trim it, but just make sure that you're away from the score line. If you need a little bit of trimming, we don't cut all the same. So that is all good if you just want to trim it. So what I did first, I glue my closure. It's the first one, and then I've put this one over it. So this makes it a little bit of a bulky. But what I will do is I'm going to put a square in here before I put on the pattern paper so I can even this. And then otherwise you will feel and see this when you put the pattern paper on this. My cardstock is very thick. And you can fold it any way that you would like. It's going to be fine. Okay, and then the pocket is onto the side, remember? Okay. Now, I'm just going to put it there. We're going to come into the middle one. And let me get it all ready. That is the paper for the middle. And let me show you. We do have 6.5 by 8.25, and I score at 1/2 inch. Then I do have another one. This is 6 3/8 by 8.25, and I score it at 3/4 and 7/8. That's going to go underneath the first one. That's why that is a little bit longer. And there is a little bit of spice, so that can go over this one. Then the little one, it's 5.25 by 8.25, and I score it at 1/2 inch. And this is going to go on half of this one, just like that. And that is how it's going to look. And it's going to fold like that. Right? And then I do have a closure. This closure, it is 5 inches. So you can still put photos on here. By 8.25. I score it 1/2 inch. And I score at 3/4. You can see it's a little bit wider. 1/2 inch and 3/4. And that is going to go over, so you can have it half or the bottom. I think I'll have this one at the top. We do have this one at the bottom. So we'll make that one at the top. And let's do that. I'm going to glue mine down and then I can show you. I glue these two together, the one with the wider flap and the other one with this, just the inch flap. Okay, and I make sure that I'm away from my score line and you can see the other score line. So this one, it's going to go on top of here, but I'll wait for the pattern paper because I would like to put this underneath the pattern paper for that one. So these two can go onto the folio. But first, I'm going to do the closure. And I'm going to put it in the middle at the top there. And let's do that. Moved it up. Let's I think I'm fine. And I'm just going to burnish that. I do have that on. And I think I'm just going to, while I'm here, just around the corners. And then we can place this in. We might kind of trim that. And this side. And I'm going to place that in. So that is on. And then this one is going to go, and we do have the closure. That is for the middle. The one middle. And let's fold that over. And we're going to come to middle B. Middle B, we do have 4, and they all the same. So they 5 3/4 by 6.5 and score at 1/2 inch. And that is 4 of them. It is our waterfall. It will be in here in the middle. Then we do have 2 of these ones. This one is 6 inches by 4.5. Score it at 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. And you do have that. And we do have this one as 5 3/4, 4.5. We score at 1/2 inch and we score at 3/4 of an inch. And we have a wider one. This is going to be our closure from top and bottom. It's those two. These ones, I'm not going to put them on now because I'm waiting for the pattern paper. And then we can put this on. On this side here, I will show you, you cannot really do anything heavy on this side because this is going to come over here. This is over here and it's come over here for close, to close. All you can do if you want, you can make a little pocket on the bottom here, little one on the corner, or little one here in the corner where you can tuck something in, like a note. For notes, I like to keep this open for my notes, and you can still make it nice. Put your pattern paper on it, and then you can decide it and see for how you're going to do it to do your notes. This is what I'm going to do on this side. I don't want to make it very heavy and then struggle to close it. So this is the start of our folio. The next is going to be the pattern paper. I'm going to dig into my stash and see what paper I can use for this folio. This is what I'm going to use for the folio, and this is from Kreiser Craft. It's called Rose, and if you can see, that is the code, and it goes very nicely with this paper pack. If I need to do the solid, I can use that. This is Orchids and Cats. I do have the 8x8 and the 12x12. I've cut into the 12x12 already and realize I need to have this for the video. And this is what is in this paper pack. So what I cut out was these ones here. I just started on the one side. It is really pretty, this paper. It is, the pink is so soft. This is going to be so much fun making this folio. I love these birds. Beautiful clock. And there's some fussy cut that I will definitely do and use. And then the 12x12 is exactly the same. I'll just go through quickly for you. Now you can see how beautiful that bird is. My favorite. And that is the last page. So this is all that we're going to use, or that I'm going to use. Let me put this all together, and let's start with the folio. I've decided to use this one. That is like that. That's the one page. I cut off the cut because I want to use the cut as well. And then this, I've just cut it to fit this page. It is the first one. So when you close it, it is this one with the half of the pocket. That's what I've done, is I cut it exactly the same as what my base is, because I want to protect the corners here, or the points. I want that up to there. And then if you do that, you will have a little bit of white showing here. And I'm 100% with that. This I cut down to fit on the half a pocket. The half a pocket is 5.5 by 5.5, and I score at half an inch, and just on the two sides, around the corners. And I just cut this to fit on here. Let's try this way. Okay, then I'm going over here. I will have the belly band ready. I've just put some cardstock onto it and fold it over, and I fold that over. So this is ready. So we can glue this up, and then I can put it in. I will come back to this when I've finished with the cutouts and see which one is going to fit nicely onto here. Because this is a 2-inch wide, I can put something big on here. I am going to glue this down, and I'm just going to put that out my way and make sure I do have this in the middle, and I'm going to glue it down. Okay, so I've got this on. Just needs to finish it very good. And I can bring this back and gonna put that. It's gonna go like that. And then you can put your photo mats, folios, you can put that in there. Okay, this is, let me take that away again. All I do is make sure I'm in the corner and my score lines, and then I can glue this down. So I've got that flap to do. And down. Make sure it's taken. Right. We do have this left. We do have this one left. So, and we cut, and that is ready for this page. We can put it on score tape, glue, whatever you need, whatever you want to use, you can do that. I'm going to go for my score tape. Right, I'm on and happy with it. So we can go into this first section. Well, I'm going to go first and cut a white piece of cardstock that I can fold up in this space here. I decided to go with the pink and not the white, and it fills it up and it looks much neater. Now, I just want to bring this back and see This is the closure, and that one. So which paper I'm going to put on the top first? Right, this one here. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to see if my cat is going to do it. This is what I'm going to do on for the cat. Let me see. I did put it on, but I had to put 2 strips of the pink on the side because it was just too much of white, and it works out well. So that one is on. It's just this closure. I'll have a think about it. I don't want to put anything onto here because this cardstock is very thick. Let's go onto the next one. It's going to be the top of this one here. I do have my papers ready. Let me show you. I've used 1 sheet, and I'll cut that to size. That's on the opposite of that one. And then I do have these 2 offcuts. I'm going to use it here, but that's going to be like this. That's going to be on that side. I'm going to glue mine down. And let's see. I do like this side. I do like this. Okay, now stay with my first choice. I'm done. So I glue them all on. Decided not to put these 2 together and just have a white line there. This one, it is complete. Glue on. Let's do that. Okay, so that's gonna be. Then we're gonna move on to this side here. I do have the paper. Well, let me get the paper ready for this. On this side, I do have this design like this. That's going to go that way. That falls out. That, and then that. And to me, there something is missing here. So what I did is I cut this piece 6.5 by 8.25. I score at 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch, like this. It was in my scoreboard like that. 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. And I burnish on the fold lines, and this is going to come over all of them. And to me, it just closer. It just needs that extra piece here on the middle page. And let me put that in. And when I put that in, then I can fold this in, and I'm going to use the pink cardstock for that. All I'm going to do with this, I'm just going to notch a little bit here, and that one there. I cut this like this is 8 1/4, and I cut this 8 1/8, so it's 1/8 of an inch less for all the score lines. Keep that one in mind and you'll be fine. That's why I cut this. Let's put it in. So all the papers are on. It's just on the back of the fold outs that I still need to do. And that is this. It's done. And I'm going to come to this one. I decided to make a pocket. So all that I've done is I cut a piece and I had this left. It was like that. Let's do it this way. It was like that. I measure it on the paper. Yes, I can use it. I can use that one at the top there. This one down here for the pocket. And I made a notch with my circle. I think it's a 1-inch circle punch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue all on the edges and then I will put it down. That is the line of glue that I've done all around, and then I'm going to put it down. I think I need to see, and it looks good. And I can burnish. Now, just be careful for the glue to seep out. And sometimes it is good if you put a pocket onto your closure. It helps it to keep it down. And then I can put this one on. And then this one. This one I need to cut down. And that is going to slide. Don't want to lift it too much because the glue needs to get dry, but that's the idea. That is, I think I'm going to turn it. That's the idea. To fit in on that side, and then I can do the pocket. All right, the pocket is in. On, shall I say? And here it's a deep one. It's not very wide, but it's a nice deep pocket. Now, I'm just going to fold that over. We're going to come to the waterfall side on. So there is 4, because I decided not to put this underneath the pattern paper, but I'm going to do it on top of the pattern paper. It gives that a little bit more of a lift, and this one as well on this side. That is the closure. So that is the waterfall. All that I did is I start with this one and I measure that it is a little bit of the cardstock, the pink cardstock showing at the bottom here, and then I placed it down and I butt this one onto that fold line there, and I did the next one and the next one. I can probably put another one on there, but then I'm going to have a problem with my closure. Then the closure needs to go underneath the pattern paper. And then I do have enough there to put my closure down. I'm going to put this one down so I can get the paper ready for all the waterfall. So I did glue them on, although I know this white strip here and those ones, I will cover it all, and so that you don't see it, I will put pattern paper on there, and that's the closure. I've made this wide enough that you can still put photos on here. My waterfall, the pattern paper is on. Let me show you. I used one 12 by 12 and I cut it 6 by 6, and then I just trim it down for the pages. And this side, I had an accident and I had to cut it off. But maybe it's a good thing. It happened to me also a few years ago. I think I had also an accident. But it's easy to overcome. I'm just going to get my paper for this, my cardstock for this, and I can show you how to fix this problem. So what I did is I trimmed down on the score line that I had here. And then I do have this piece. Now this piece is way too wide, but I can cut that down. So what the thing is, you can put it at the bottom, and then I can glue it, or I can have it this way. And let me bring this over. So when it comes onto this side, that you see the joint here, it will be covered by paper, so I'm not worried about that. Then when you come over here, then you will have your score line here, and the joint is with where the spine is. If you do it this way, and I think that is what I'm going to do. I don't mind having this in the middle in the book, because when I have this over, let me just do it and I can show you. But there is the two-way. You can do it at the bottom or you can do it at the top. And if you don't want, no, I'm going to do mine on top, because I want the score line to be here and not the joint. I want the joint with the spine. So on top for me. Let me do that. So I added on, and I decided to cut another little piece off that because I was scared when I score it, I'm going to be too close to the score line. So I think it was about an 1/8 of an inch that I cut a little bit off. So all I'm going to have to do to get my score lines in now, I'm just going to put my book over, and it's there with that score line. And I'm going to make a mark. and that is where I'm going to do my score line. Now you can see, I'm so glad I did cut that a little bit more off. There's my score line, and I'm just gonna fold it, make sure I'm even. Bring it over, and that is it. I do have it, my score line. I might make another score line. I think so. I think I'm going to make another score line. Let me show you. Yes, I did. It is just 1 of an 8 that I did another score line, and that is much better. I can feel it. It's much better. If you do watch these videos, it's worth watching the video first and then making it, because there are mistakes. That's what we do. We are making mistakes. Now, this is really, I don't know if I want to waste that paper or I can just leave this on. I'm just going to leave it on because it's such a small piece that I'm going to cut off. And now I think I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to get some paper for this, and then I'm going to go into the front here and let's see what we can do. Folio's finished. Let me show you what I've done. On the front, this was some of the ephemeras that you had to cut out, and I add that on here, and I put some stickles on it. I add that one over there, and I put some stickles on it. And let me show you. I haven't done a lot of stickles, just a little bit, so that you can see there is something there. And the closure, my favorite, it is Velcro dots. On this side, I've done another cutout. I add that in there. This is some of the ephemeras. I've put that on extra cardstock to have it more secure, and you can put paper to write on for journaling or another photo. You can do that on that side. And let's go to the first section. It's very long. Closure, Velcro dots, and I had this all the side pink. I've put some pattern paper there. On this side is pink. The opposite side as well. And that one I've put some pattern paper. Inside I've just left it the same. And we can get into the middle. Now, this is where the pocket is. I haven't got no closure on here, and it is closed. It keeps it closed. I've done a booklet for the pocket. You can get more in there. On that side, I just left it plain white. I add some pattern paper on that side, but this I just left it white with the pink on the back. And like that. And then on this side, I've got a closure here, but it is a Velcro dots. This too, I left that white. This is from all the offcuts, and I made some strips and put that on. And this is some of the circles that you can get to cut out. And I left this side as well in white. And this is a waterfall. The opposite side are all white. And the last one. That comes over like that. Very easy. This is my go-to if I have to do something very quick. Design, so easy to make it. And it feels good in your hand. I just want to show you, I've done another one here. It is, this paper are beautiful. On the closure here, I just put some stickles. You can see there. That's all I've done there. The paper is too beautiful. And I do have closure with magnets. And it comes down like this. It's very long. This fold out. And that side. And that side. Really pretty paper. This paper was given to me. And then on in the middle section, it folds out like that. And then it comes back, folds out. And that side and that side. And then we've got this one here. I've got a magnet. This one folds out and goes to that side over there. And then you fold it. Let me bring it down, you can see. And that goes back, comes like that. And with the magnets, very easy. Then I do have a little one. I had this paper in my stash for a long time, and I decided, no, I'm going to use it. I've made the flowers, and I put some glossy accent on it to make it nice and strong. Got 3 little magnets, so it can close properly. And this comes down and falls out and to that side. The middle, it falls out, and that side. And then this one over here, very plain, easy, but you can get a lot of photos on here, and it's very pretty. And that is my 3 folios that I've done. Similar concept, but yes, I really enjoy working with these papers. Until the next one.